Okay, hello everyone. Thanks for tuning in. I'm here today to help my buddy Noah set up his plate and wing that he just got. So we have the Rite TransPlate harness, which is a great harness. It's not your standard one-piece webbing harness. This is in multiple pieces, which I kind of like. So we're here setting this up. And if you're going to dive with a plate and wing, you have to first of all make sure that the plate fits the diver. Turn around, Noah. So as you can see, Noah's a pretty tall kid. And with this plate, if you can reach back and touch the top of the plate with your hand, that's perfect. And then it goes all the way down here. This is a tall plate. A standard plate, he wouldn't be able to do that. So he needs a tall plate just like me. And we bought this one. This is a Scuba Force plate. It's kind of a different shape. They're coming out with a lot of different ones now. So this is kind of cool. We're excited to help set this up for him. And so this comes with plenty of D-rings attached. This one is going to go on the left side for a stage or a pony cylinder. And this one is just going to have the one on the right, because it's not really necessary to have two D-rings on each side. You just need one to clip off a light or something. So the way that you want to do this is this comes with these nice plastic tri-gliders. And you want to feed this up through here and back down. And then you feed it through the plate, or at least this is how I like to have it set up. And you feed it through like this. Through here, and back down under here. And then now you have all this excess. So the excess, you can either just leave it on, or you can trim it later once you get it adjusted and dialed into exactly where you want it. And so this is a little bit long for right now, but we'll leave it until we get it adjusted. And as you're making these adjustments, you want the end of your webbing for this piece here to be at about the bottom of the plate. That's usually a pretty good judge of where you want this to sit. So we're going to do the same thing now for this side as well. Here, get it at about where we want it. There we go, thank you. And
probably a little higher.
A little higher.
A little more.
A little more. All right.
So keeping that webbing it longer is good for adjustments?
Just to make sure, because once you trim this webbing piece, if you trim it too short, you got to buy a new webbing, and it's a pain in the arse. So it's better to just leave it long for a while and dive with it a few dives until you're 100% sure that this is where you want it and it's the proper length to suit you. And this is not, I mean, this is not a super hard harness to set up. This webbing is fairly flexible. Webbings come in a lot of different thicknesses and rigidity and such, so oh, come on. Oh, the joys of diving with a plate and wing.
Or new webbing.
Yeah. Fifth time's the charm, I suppose. Now these shoulder pads are nice, but they're not super necessary. Depending on how tight or loose fitting or more comfortable you want to be, you can certainly have them. I like these pads. They're nice and comfortable, especially if you're diving in a thinner wetsuit. With a heavier dry suit, it really doesn't make that big of a difference, but it's all about what you like or not. So you do you, and if you don't want a pad, or if you don't like the plate pads, don't dive with them. It's that easy. So that's the shoulder piece of the harness. We got to make a little adjustment. You can kind of see how it doesn't quite match up completely perfect, but we can adjust that as we go. So now we're going to put on the waist belt, and this is great because this is sewn in. It has this tri-glider sewn in on it. So what we can do is feed that in through here. And back up through here. And we pull it nice and tight. And voila, we have ourselves a nice secure piece. And so this may be loosen up a little bit from time to time, but I've never had one be an issue. So for our chest, for our side straps, what we want is they have these really great pieces that clip together, that this clips on here. Okay, so it has a quick disconnect, so it's kind of nice. Now, if you're doing a lot of wreck penetration, cave diving, this may not be what you want, but for the kind of diving that we're doing, this will be suitable. So the only thing I don't like about it is this has this little dangly thing. So what I like to do is, if this will fit, I think I have to do this. If this fits through here, there you go. So now, with it like this, you can still adjust it, and it's not going to be hanging down. So that's how I like to do it. You can use a little bit of bungee or tubing or something to hold that in place so it's not dangling. But that's what I like to do with it, so you can still adjust it. I don't unclip these and clip these every day. I just leave them clipped pretty much all the time for me. And
I usually unclip mine.
Yeah.
For ease of getting out of the harness and bad shoulders. So with these, you want to make sure that when you put these on your webbing, that these are this piece is facing out this way. Okay, so if it's facing backwards, that's not going to work unless you want to have your harness piece all the way up here. So I like to have it as far back here as I can. So I'm going to put that here, and it's very simple to put on. You just feed it right through, and that's that. Very simple and very easy. So then this clips here, and then you have a really nice continuous piece of webbing and you still have this release here if you want or need it. There's all kinds of webbing harnesses available, and do your homework, see what you like and what you don't. This is what I like, so that's kind of what I go with. This is a very comfortable, very easy harness. It's very solid. And what I love about plate and wings is that if a piece were to wear out or break, you can replace the one piece. You don't have to go buy a whole new BCD, you can just replace your one piece that's broken, and you're good to go. So that's that.
Other side of webbing.
So next, we need to put on weight pockets. So these weight pockets are fantastic. It has this little tri-slider in here, if you can see that. So you put your webbing piece through here. Make sure we got this done right. Okay. And these are not quick release weight pockets. They have a little pull tab, and then it unclips. And then the only way that this will drop free is once you undo it, if you have it upside down. It'll drop free. Otherwise, you have to physically pull out the weight. So decide how you want to handle that. If you want drop-free weights, get the quick disconnect. Rite makes quick disconnect or quick release weight pockets. They're just a lot more bulkier. And this rig is going to be set up as a technical diving rig, so Noah's not going to need that kind of weight, and he's not going to want to ditch his weight. It's a different thing for technical diving versus recreational or no decompression required, no stop diving. So
did we want to get this other side of the webbing out first?
Okay. So back in the day, they never had these on here. So if you just put this on here, it would slide around, and you had to put another piece of equipment or something forward of this weight pocket so that it wouldn't slide on you. And it was a real pain in the ass. So thank God for Rite for making these, because this is awesome. I love these weight pockets, and they're great for technical diving. If you are a recreational diver and you want to use these weight pockets, you have to be comfortable with not being able to ditch your weight immediately. That it's going to take you some extra time to ditch weight, which adds a risk. But, it's all up to you how you want to approach it. If you want to dive with that, dive with it. If you don't, don't. So now that this is on here, guess what? This ain't going anywhere. Okay, this is nice and solid, but I didn't feed it through the little.
I was gonna say, is that?
So I'm gonna show you
And
how.
ensure you're weaving it through each of the loops on the sides too, for extra support.
Yeah. So, real quick.
New webbing, such a joy.
Yeah,
it's pretty stiff.
It's setting these up. My first harness and wing and plate I set up, I tore it apart and put it back together dozens of times, cussing the whole time, because I would dive it and then I wouldn't like where something was positioned. I'm like, well, I got to change that, and then I go and change it, and it would be a whole process of taking everything apart, putting it back together. And it's just not fun. And Rite makes these harness systems that are very nice and easy to adjust, and they're really great harnesses. But they're not. But then again, they're not everybody's cup of tea. So do your thing. So this is on. Then basically all we have to do is this other side.
Did you want to put this on?
And then this.
And there's another one over there.
So D-rings. This is a 45-degree angle D-ring. See how it sticks out a little bit? It's great because it's easy to access. This one is designed to lay flat. So it's tucked out of the way when you're not using it. It's a little harder to find things and clip them off when you're diving, but it's nice. It folds down flat and it doesn't stick out any. This one is good too. This is a solid D-ring. It doesn't move. So if you have it on here, it's going to stick out a little bit. Okay, you see the difference? So with this, what we're going to do is put this on here. Let's see how I want to do that.
Yep. Well,
Is
yeah.
that
Yep,
the
like
right
that.
one?
Is that the right way?
So, and then some mention should be made too that those D-rings were originally actually on the arm straps of the harness, and for the purpose of what this harness is being used for, they were taken off and they're going to get put on the waist to clip off an SPG or stage, which is why we only have one of the D-rings on the shoulder straps instead of on both of the shoulder straps.
So now that this is clipped on here, when Noah's diving and he's clipping off his SPG, he'll be able to clip this off a lot easier. It's not going to flop around back and forth. Because you can see with this, the way it moves, it may be a challenge to clip the SPG on and off and find it. And during a dive, it can be a real pain in the ass because you're fumbling for it and trying to line up and such. So,
do we want, before we put that weight pocket on, did we want to put another D-ring over here so that a pony bottle could be clipped off? Because where are we clipping SPG and pony bottle to this?
well, yeah, that's another thing. So you can clip off your SPG and pony on the same D-ring when you're diving. It's a little bit more of a challenge to find the D-ring, but what you can also do is you can clip your SPG, should be long enough. You can clip it up here if you're diving with a pony or a stage.
Clipping it off to this 40 or this angled D-ring instead of down here.
Or you can put a second D-ring here. And then this D-ring, you would clip your pony to here, or your stage here, and clip your SPG here, so they're in two separate ones, and that would also help keep your pony more vertical or perpendicular to your body as you're diving. If it's clipped off here versus back here, what I find is that small difference, the pony can tend to drag. If you're near the bottom or near the surface or the bottom of what you're diving, like if you're diving along a wreck or if you're diving in many cases in the mud, if you're not careful, the valve and the stage of the stage can drag through the mud along with your second stage and get it all full of mud and grit and dirt if you're that close to the bottom.
Which is why it's better to have it run parallel.
So
to
if you have it tipped up more, it's still gonna hang a little bit, but not quite as much, and it's a little bit easier for you. So that, and if you use it in empties, it doesn't get so butt light and start floating way the hell up here behind your back. So, you know, what I love about a plate and wing is you can customize any piece, any way, anyhow, anytime. You can swap out these wings in 5 minutes, and you could go diving in the ocean, and then you can bolt your doubles on and let's do some tech diving. So it's a great setup. This is a stainless steel plate. It weighs about 5.5 or 6 pounds. 5.5 pounds. So no one's going to have a 5.5 pound plate on his back when he's diving. Being that we're bigger dudes, we need that extra weight on our back to help us trim out in the water. So it's a great platform for diving in general, especially for larger divers. If you have a diver with a smaller frame, you can use an aluminum plate, which is much lighter. They're only about 3 pounds. Or even I've seen carbon fiber plates, which I'm interested to see how those work out. So
goes in the path of dive right back, plate and wing.
Yeah. So anyway, we have a set of regulators here for him, also that we're going to be doing a little setting up on today. But we just wanted to show you how this harness system works. If you want, I highly recommend, if you're going to be doing local diving in the pits and quarries and the Great Lakes and stuff up here in the great state of Minnesota, I highly recommend a plate and wing, just because we're diving in heavier wetsuits and dry suits, and we typically need a little bit more weight, and it's a very stable, solid platform that will grow with you
as you move through your diving career, if you want to call it that. So yeah, that's it. We're pretty much done. We just need to put on this other transition piece and then adjust it for proper fit. When you're wearing a plate and harness, what you should be able to do is touch the top of the plate on the back and the bottom, and then also when you reach like this, stick out your hands and you reach in. This is about where you want your D-rings, right here, so that it's nice and comfortable clipping things on and off as you're diving.
So we're gonna do another video on making sure everything all is adjusted correctly, right?
We could.
Correct. We will.
Correct.
We will?
Correct,
Yep,
we
we
will.
All right.
All right,
I
so
guess
right
we're
for
gonna
right
do it.
now.
All right. A little bit longer video, but that's the ins and outs of diving with a plate and wing as I understand it. And thank you for your time and attention. Much appreciated. I hope this helps you guys with your diving. Thanks.